Alright, hello everyone. Today I'll be showing you how to make a GIF on Photopea, which is essentially Photoshop but for free. It is a online website where you can do basically everything that Photoshop allows you to do, except it's free and online. So I would say this is a very great alternative if you want to get into GIF making, but you don't want to spend $20 a month for Photoshop. So first, to even access Photopea, you just go to your web browser, type in photopea.com. I recommend Chrome because I've noticed when I'm on Safari, which is a Mac web browser, Photopea uses up a lot of memory, and on Safari, when a lot of memory is used, the page reloads, which is annoying because all your progress is lost. In Chrome, it doesn't reload, it just keeps buffering until your output is made, which in our case will be a GIF. So I'd highly recommend using Chrome because GIFs can be pretty large. So first, to make a GIF, you need an MP4, which is a video. And to get these videos, like 90% of the time, I get my videos from YouTube. There's other ways to get it, but I won't talk about it in this tutorial because this is just the basics. So to get these videos, you can actually download YouTube videos. You might be asking, how do you do that? There's an app that you can download onto your computer. I believe both Windows and Mac has this app. It is called 4K Video Downloader, and I will go ahead and click on it. And all that you do to download the video is you go to YouTube, get the link of your video that you want to make a GIF out of, like whatever section the GIF is from. You click paste link. It will load, and it'll allow you to pick the definition if you want it to be an MKV instead of an MP4. I would recommend MP4 and also the highest quality possible because that will make the GIF look better later. And you just click download. So easy enough. Once you click download, or once it downloads your video, you can double click, and at least on Mac, it pops up in QuickTime Player, that app. You click edit, trim, and you go through and trim whatever part of the video that you want for your GIF. I'd recommend just for one GIF, this is what, like say if I wanted just this, if I just wanted just this, I would save it as so. If I click this X button, I would name it, I don't know, Jongho GIF. Right here. I don't know. Whatever you want to name it. Save wherever you want it and click save. I won't for this case. That's how you obtain your MP4. So now you have your MP4, and for the sake of things, I don't want everyone to see my files on my computer, so I have it already in Photopea. And when you open your MP4 on Photopea, and you select it and import it into Photopea, it'll ask you how many frames of the video that you want, and normally 30 is a good number. Sometimes some videos have 60 frames. When I say frames, I just mean how smooth the video will turn out. So if I clicked 10 frames, it would be a very choppy video. 60 is probably a very, very good video. Tends to be 4K, which means very high quality, but 30 is generally what most videos are, I'd say. This one right here is 30. You guys didn't see this, but I did type in like when I upload it, it asks how many frames do you want. I type 30 and it shows me 30. So that's a good number to pick for your frames. So now I have my MP4. I have everything ready for what I have everything ready for what I want to do to GIF. So first thing that I personally do is I immediately crop exactly what I want in my GIF, because I don't want this entire thing. I just want part of it, and I think I will give Jongho this man. So normally I find that let me do this. I click on the crop tool, this weird square. I usually go to fixed ratio, and normally I do 3:4. That's usually the ratio that I do, and sometimes it does that weird thing where it doesn't. Ugh. So I have my 3:4 crop. I will line it up exactly where I want it and hit this check mark right here. So there we go. Now I have nothing else that I want. I just have Jongho. And over here is where all your frames are. And I can click here and see like later in the GIF. Sometimes I do this if I want to make sure like he's in the frame or he's in the shot for the entire GIF. And as you can see, he is like maybe he's a little cut off there, but I'm not super picky. I mean, you can be picky, but, or I could pick like a different ratio and it would make it wider or taller or smaller, like whatever you want, you can fool around. But normally I use 3:4. So now I have my Jongho, and I think I want to add some color because maybe if you're watching this video and you don't know ATs, Jongho doesn't really have this hair color. This hair, I guess, was the result of lighting, so for me, I'm going to change that. But first, what I normally do to change just the colors, make things brighter, make things more contrast, whatever, is I go down to this half circle thing, click it, and this is all of the different color changers that you can choose from. A lot of these I don't really use. The most that I use is this one, brightness and contrast. I use levels sometimes. That one's a little complicated. I don't even really know how to explain it, but I sometimes use that. I mean, maybe when you're first starting out, I wouldn't recommend it because it is just kind of weird. I like vibrance. I like hue and saturation. I like replace color. And pretty much I have no idea what the other ones do. So first I will click on vibrance because I like having vibrant GIFs. So first I'm going to just increase the saturation, and that makes him much more saturated. And if I click on this eye right here, I can see what he looked like before I added the saturation, and I personally like it much better when it is more saturated like that. And the second thing I will do is click selective color. And all that this does is it finds a color, so in this case red or yellow or green, it goes, oh, there's red. And in that red, I'm going to add cyan. So now it adds cyan and makes his hair darker and makes it lighter when I go on this side. But I don't want to do that. I want to make his jacket darker. And you can actually do that, technically. You can go to black, because his jacket is black, and go to the black right here, and increase black. And that makes the black more black, which I always, I like that. I like very high contrast GIFs. So that's what I will do. And I also noticed that his jacket is kind of bluish, and I don't really like that much. So I will click hue/saturation, go right here and pick blue, because that is the color that I don't want. And if I go to saturation, I can get rid of all the blue. See, now it's it's a very black leather jacket, whereas if I did this, it'd be extremely blue. I can also fool around with the hue. Like now it's purple, now it's red, green. I can fool around with that. I can change the lightness. Just honestly, this isn't a catch-all. Just it's whatever you want to do, whatever color you want. And it just takes some fooling around. Like you're never gonna like find out you're never gonna know how you want to color something unless you just practice. Because I have my tastes, but you might not have my taste. That's okay too. So, but for now I'm going to take out all this blue and just have a nice black leather jacket. I like that. Now, I think I like everything about this gift so far, except for the hair. I want his hair to be a little more red. So I will click replace color, click on this peachy shade, I guess, and click here to change this peachy shade because the color that I want to change is his hair color. So I will click on this little pipette, I don't know, and go over to his reddish pink hair, click OK, and I will up the fuzziness because that means like it'll capture, Photopea will find colors that are very similar to this color and change it. So if I go to this, his hair is changing like mad. I'll actually decrease because I don't want his lips to be in the color changer. See, sometimes it's trial and error because I don't like how his lips are catching the color. So I will select a slightly different color just to see if I can catch more of that. There we go. You see? It's kind of purplish hair, but now it's more red. And I can increase the saturation of just that red. None of the other colors. Just the red that I selected. Well, not selected. It's the red that I chose by moving around this hue bar. So now I have the red that I want. I have all the colors that I like. And the next thing that I will do, normally when I make a GIF, is I add a watermark so people can't steal it. So I will, for the sake of this, just add a random watermark. I will say, here is my watermark. And you can't see it right now because the text is black. I'll turn it white. Now you can see here's my watermark. You can go here, change the font. I personally like Homemade Apple. I like this font. It's very pretty. I can go to the size, make it bigger, smaller. For the sake of this, I will just make it this size. I think that's a good size. Now, I will move it to where I want the watermark to be. I normally put it here on the bottom. Scroll down, and Photopea will, I guess, guide you, help you, see how it kind of, it's stopping me from going beyond with that red line. So I will just normally put it right there and click confirm. Now if I had instead used a different color for my text, like black, it wouldn't have been very noticeable. I just normally do white because 99% of the time I can see it better. But I want it to be transparent. I want my watermark to be transparent, not like very blocky like this one is. So to change that, all I do is go down to this where it says normal. I'll go here, scroll down, I go to soft light. So now, well, now it's basically gone, but it is still there, and as Jongho moves, and the light is different, you will be able to see it just a little bit. I mean, but that's kind of the point of the watermark, right? You don't want it to be super noticeable, because the point of the GIF is to look at the subject, but it's still there in case someone steals it, and yeah, you can prove that it's yours. And then the last thing I do for my watermark is I believe on Windows it's left click, but on Mac I double click and I click rasterize. Honestly, I have no idea what rasterize does, but it's something that I've learned to do, and it works. I don't really know why, but it does something. Alright, and now the next thing that I will do is, sorry, it disappeared for a second. My computer was being kind of wonky, but now we're back. So as I was saying, the next thing that I like to do, now that my coloring is done, my watermark is done, what do I do next? So the fun thing with Tumblr is that there is a GIF size limit. So you can't go over 10 millibytes, I believe. MB, I'm pretty sure that is what MB means. So you can't have giant GIFs. They have to be 10 or less. And I've noticed in my months of making GIFs that sometimes if you have a very large file size like this one, and you sharpen it to make it sharper, more pretty, whatever, it'll be very, very large. So you'll want to make it smaller, and in making it smaller, you will make the quality not as good. So how do you make it less than 10 millibytes, but also make it look really pretty? And this is how you do that. This is what you do. You go to fixed size, and excuse me for a second. You go to fixed size, and I'm noticing right here the width and the height of the GIF 810 and 1080. I normally cut it in half. I normally cut the width and the height in half. So 810 and 1080. I go to fixed size. Half of 810 is 405. Half of 1080 is 540. It is the same aspect ratio, or the same ratio as before, just smaller. I grow the crop thing so it fits the whole thing and click the check mark. And it usually takes a second because it is a decently large file, because normally Photopea or Photoshop they edit much smaller files. So now I have it smaller. We're good to go. Now comes the sharpening. So what I do to sharpen, aka make my GIF clearer, prettier, whatever, is I go to this triangle thing. It's called Actions. I click on this Actions, and I scroll down, make sure my dotted box is over top of the first layer. The first layer, I make sure. This just makes this helps, because say if I was looking at this frame, but I was editing this frame, when I sharpened it, I would not be able to see how sharp I'm making the GIF, because I'm looking at this one, but I'm editing this one. So it's always good to make sure that your eye and the dotted box are one and the same. So to sharpen, I have my Actions, the triangle. I click this little file thing, then I click on this icon next to it, and then I click this circle, which means record. And it basically records everything I do, everything I click from here on out. So I go here to filter. This is where I'll find the sharpening tool. Go down to sharpen, and then I click Smart Sharpen. And you'll notice this preset, it already looks a little more sharp. And normally you can just fool around, see what happens. Like, for example, if I made it extremely sharp, that looks a little ridiculous, right? So you kind of find a happy medium. Like, this is way too much. Maybe that's perhaps too little. See how slowly, as I decrease the radius, makes it better, worse, whatever. I think 1.8 is a good number. So I will click that. Now the action has recorded that. Now I click stop recording the square. Now it's a circle again because I've stopped recording. Now this is a weird Photopea thing that I will just, I don't know why it does this. I just avoid it because I've done gifting for so long. Is it sharpens just this layer but not this next one. See how it looks a lot less sharp than that first one? So I don't want just this layer to be sharpened. So on my computer I have a Mac. So to go back, I click Command Z, and that gets rid of the sharpening on that one layer. But I still have my action set right here, basically like a mass filter type thing. That's kind of what it is. I don't really know how to explain it. I just know how to do it. So, but I want all of these frames to be sharpened. I don't just want the first one to be sharpened. That's why I hit backspace to get rid of that one layer that was sharpened and all the other ones weren't. So to sharpen all of them, I make sure I've clicked on this one first frame. On my computer, I click and hold Shift, scroll all the way up, click on the last one, the last frame, and now they're all highlighted. And then I click this triangle right here, and I wait for Photopea to sharpen all of the layers. This can sometimes take a while. Oh, but it looks like it sharpened it, because I know that it sharpened it because now it says Smart Sharpen. Because beforehand it was not on that screen. This was not in the history. Now we're done. So to save our GIF, we go to File, we go to Export As, go down to GIF, and this sometimes takes a second to load. You just sit and wait. That's why resizing helps. Like the 405 by 540, if I didn't do that, it would take that much longer, and it would be a giant GIF, and you'd have to resize it to make sure it could be uploaded to Tumblr. It's a whole thing. See, and this is why I do Chrome instead of Safari, because right now it would have reloaded the page and I would have lost everything. Instead, Chrome just gives me this. It's not going to reload. It just has this little pop-up. I'll just click wait. You don't have to click wait. Doesn't really matter. See, it takes a minute. There we go. And there's our jongho. There's our gorgeous GIF. Looks really nice. Dither, by the way, means better quality. It makes the GIF slightly better quality. I always have that on. And right here you can see how big the GIF is. 13.6 is a little too big. Remember what I said, 10 millibytes or less is Tumblr's size. So I will go to the width. Instead of 405, I will do 370 and click. And when I do 370, the height will automatically change as well, so that it's still like the same ratio as it was before. I don't have to do any math or anything. And of course, more waiting. because, like I said, this is a very big file and it takes a second. Also, just a general rule of thumb, I would say when you are first making your MP4 video, when you first cropping it, I would recommend the MP4 be no more than 3 seconds, because if it's 4 seconds, then it will be a very large file, and it's hard to make it look nice when Photopea has to juggle so many frames, and it has to be sharpened. Like, it's very hard to make it look good and be long at the same time. So I'd recommend about 3 seconds. And we're still not under 10, so here we go again. I am making the width even smaller so it can fit under 10 millibytes. And more waiting. And I won't do this for the sake of the video's length, but you can also go to speed and change the speed to 80% of the current speed, 60% of the current speed. Generally, I do 70 or 75% of the current speed, just because I like slower GIFs. You can do 150%, make him very fast. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want to do with your GIF. There we go. Oh, look at that. That's perfect. That is under 10. So now we are good to go. And all I do is click save. Click on it. Now it's downloaded and I have my GIF. And I can move on to my next one. And that is how you make a GIF. I hope you learned something, and if you are on Tumblr, please let me know if you use this and it helped at all, because I would be extremely happy if it did. And if you have any questions, feel free to hop in my inbox. I will try my best to answer them. And I hope this has been a good introduction for you on how to make GIFs. Thank you.